Good morning and welcome to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. Call today 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Now here's Medicare Myriam.
Happy Saturday, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Miriam Leyva with United Insurance Experts. United Insurance Experts is not affiliated with or endorsed by the government or the federal Medicare program. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Currently in Palm Beach County, we represent 10 organizations which offer 49 products. Please contact Medicare.gov at 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. The purpose of this show is to educate you on Medicare and to connect you with valuable resources. In today's show, I want to remind everyone that we are currently in Medicare's open enrollment period, which lasts from October 15 to December 7th. So please take a moment to review your notice of change. I've talked to many individuals who have indicated they have not received it, okay? So please check that pile of mail that you have, because I know you have a pile of mail because I'm sure you're receiving tons of it. Check through it. Make sure if it's not there, please call the back of your card. If you call Member Services, you can request the notice. It's called the Notice of Change. This is a piece of a document that is telling you of all the changes for the new year. So again, this is essential. It's a must. You must review it, okay? If for any reason I'm your agent, if I'm your agent, you can call me. And as your agent, I can request one on your behalf and make sure it gets mailed out to you during the annual election period. Because remember, they're notifying you of any changes, because if you want to make a change or that plan that you're currently on does not make sense for the new year, this is the time to change, okay? So due to the upcoming changes in Medicare for 2025, again, it's crucial to compare your current plan with next year's options. If you're enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan and have received a notice indicating that your plan will no longer be available in 2025, it is important to contact your agent or reach out to us. You can call us directly. There is no charge for our services. Remember, it's not a charge to you. We get paid from the insurance carrier directly, so we can compare your choices for that year. Again, if your plan is closing, right? If it's just being discontinued and you do not make a change, you will be put back in original Medicare on January 1st, 2025. So again, if your plan is going away, make sure you make a change during the annual election period, because if you don't, January 1st, you're going to go back to original Medicare, and then you'll be responsible for the gaps of original Medicare, and you don't want that. So make sure that, especially if you receive this notice, contact them if you want to continue with that specific carrier. You're welcome to call us at 561-464-2273 so we can educate you on the current plans that are offered in your area. Or you can call, if you're already working with an agent that you love and trust, please make sure you contact them and let them know. I'm sure they've been notified, but this is a crazy time, so please make sure you do reach out. Now, that pretty much completes my Medicare education for the week. But talking about valuable resources, I have a special guest, Nan Wetherhorn, a South Florida independent patient advocate and nurse since 1976. As an intensive care unit nurse for more than 30 years and with an experience in pediatric and adult patient and cardiac care, neurology, surgery, and trauma, her mission today is to provide education, resources, and tools so patients can make educated, informed decisions about their health care. Nan's robust clinical background makes it easy for her to participate in discussions with healthcare providers and relay complicated medical information to her clients in a clear, simple, comprehensive language they can easily understand. Let's all welcome Nan.
Thank you, Miriam. I really appreciate that. And just one last thing about Medicare.
Yes.
I always put in my clients' calendars 2 weeks or a month before this whole open enrollment. I put a little note look at your Medicare policy. Do you need to make changes?
Yes. Yes, especially if they have an Advantage or a Part D, they should be receiving what's called, like I said, a notice of change. It always comes the third week of September. And I've had, you have no idea, I've talked to, I want to say 50 people this week that have said, I never got it. Some of them said, here it is in this pile of mail. Some have said, I really don't know. I probably threw it away with all this other stuff that I've received, right? So again, it's so important because it's the only thing that's letting you know what changes are taking place for the new year.
Well, that's why I tell them to be proactive and call first. Call a month before all of this starts.
Yeah.
So I put it in their calendar, and they always say to me, oh, Nan, am I supposed to call? Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yes, you are. So that's my little hint for Medicare.
Thank you. And, I have to say, we talked a few weeks ago, and I think we had a 15-minute or 20-minute conversation, and I learned so much from you. I was telling my colleague the other, I'm like, oh my God, she is amazing. So thank you so much. I'm really thrilled to have this conversation with you. Why don't we kick things off by having you share a bit about your background and what led you to begin your career in this field?
Well, you told most of it. I mean, I've been a nurse since 1976. I graduated from Vanderbilt University in 76. And yes, I have worked as a nurse ever since that time, either in intensive care units, pediatric neonatal, which means sick babies, or adult ICUs. And I've also done home care for patients that are at home on ventilators, peg feedings, that kind of thing, pretty sick patients. And I've done hospice care. So I've kind of run the gamut, and I became an advocate in 2015, mainly because I know that communication is what's basically broken in our healthcare system. Some of that is a time constraint because doctors don't have time to talk to other doctors or to the patient and as fully as they would like to. And sometimes patients just don't tell the doctor. They don't really understand anything the doctor's saying to them. So I feel that communication is the key, and that is how I started. That's why I started doing what I do. But my mom had ovarian cancer. I diagnosed in 2000, and she was a very smart lady. She was a pharmacist who went to Columbia School of Pharmacy during World War II when women didn't do that. And she was very smart, but when the doctor told her, well, you have ovarian cancer, she just looked at it and put her hand up and said, you know what? You said cancer. My brain heard you're dying. So talk to my daughters. Nana's a nurse. Mm-hmm. My sister was with me, and she said, talk to them. They'll tell me everything, and then we'll make decisions. And that is when I thought, ooh, what do people do that don't have anybody? Everybody needs to take somebody with them to at least take notes. So that's why I really started doing this, to make sure that people really heard what the doctor was saying. Because I have had people that have said, oh, man, I read your note. He didn't say I was going to die in a month. I said, no, never said that. Never said that.
I mean, and so, everybody's, you're in a moment of shock as well. You know,
it's very emotional.
Of course. I went through something similar when my father-in-law was diagnosed with a massive tumor in his stomach. And thankfully, I was there for him. You know, my husband was there. We were both there, when he went to the doctors. But again, he was like, every time we would leave, he just didn't, it's like he wasn't paying attention.
Well, they don't really hear. That's why. And I put it, and my clients are so cute. They tell me all the time, Nan, you speak medicalese and you put it in plain English.
Yeah.
And that is the key for me. The patient has to understand the diagnosis and the treatment options available, because if they don't, they're not going to comply.
Right.
Easy.
Now, from your experience as an ICU nurse, what are some common challenges you've seen patients and families face when navigating the healthcare decisions? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is, as an ICU nurse, if I had a dime for every time somebody said to me, I know this is a stupid question, but first of all, there are no stupid questions. If you have the question and this is your loved one or you yourself, it's not stupid, because you need to know the answer so you can take care of that patient and you can help them, or you can take care of yourself. So that's the first thing. Questions are
the easiest thing you can do. Ask any question, and there are no stupid questions. And if anybody makes you feel like it's stupid, well, they're just not a nice person.
Yeah. Or you shouldn't be seeing that person. I mean, especially if it's in the medical, right.
And the other thing I will tell people, do not sign any consent forms for treatment or care or anesthesia unless you understand what you're signing. You wouldn't do that if you were signing up for to buy a house.
Right.
You read everything. So do this for your health. So read it carefully, and if you don't understand it, have somebody explain it.
Right. Sometimes, see, this is things that you point out that sometimes you don't think about that. Yeah, when we're getting into like a loan or a credit card, we start reading, right? What's the interest? What's this? What's that? We look at the fine print. But when we're in like a medical environment or, a hospital, a lot of times we don't look at it. We just trust. We're just like, oh, okay. I guess it's something we have to sign.
Yeah, well, and they tell you, you have to sign this for anesthesia. You have to sign this. And usually, unfortunately, in our system, it's like an hour before you're going to go for surgery, the anesthesiologist comes in. And I always ask them, could you come in the day before, please?
Yeah. Because
they're already worried and nervous. Yeah. Don't be you can't give them any medication until they understand what they're signing. If it's a family member, that's different. If it's an emergency process, like you're in the emergency room, you're unconscious, somebody's signing for you, then that person needs to understand what they're signing. Even though it's an emergency situation, you can ask the doctor, the social worker, the nurse, please explain this to me so I understand it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's my biggest thing is communication, communication, communication.
Now, can you share the inspiration behind creating the Map to Good Health Toolkit and what you hope it will achieve for families?
Well, it's easy. The toolkit I developed, the Map to Good Health for Healthy Living PDF, which is going to contain all of your healthcare information. It starts off with your insurance information, whether you have a living will, a health proxy, a health surrogate, whatever you'd like to call it, a power of attorney. All of that is noted. Then it goes through from your head to your toes, every system in the body, like heart, brain, lungs, and it asks you questions under each one. These are questions your doctor would normally ask you, but you're going to go ahead and have all of this, and you can type it in. It's a PDF. You can print it out and write it in. You can type it in on your computer, but it's going to contain all of your health information, including mental health issues. It asks about any kind of depression, anything like that. Everything, every single thing that could affect your health is going to be in there, including a list of your family members, your mother, your father, your aunts, your uncles, your grandfather, on both sides of the family. Everything will be on both sides, and you're just going to check off or write down any health problems. Because when your doctor sees that, that's going to give him even more, or her, more information so they can say, oh, you have a history of diabetes in your family. You don't have it right now, but we're going to be watching for that. And this is how we're going to do that. Or you have a history of breast cancer on both sides of your family. We're going to have you take a BRCA test, 1 and 2. And then explain what it is and why. It's just a genetic test. It's going to help you understand what that health history looks like for you. So to me, that's really important because that's what most people forget. They totally forget to add that. And the doctors will ask, do you have any? And they say, I don't know. And it's one of those things I tell my clients, write down all of your questions before you see the doctor. Never fails. You walk out of that doctor's appointment and go, oh, I meant to ask about this. So
that happens to me all the time, by the way.
Yes, everybody, especially with children. And so that is included in the toolkit, but I also included things like how to prepare for an emergency room visit, how to select a good doctor, primary doctor, how to leave a doctor that you no longer feel works for you. And both are done in a very nice way. What a senior placement specialist is. Things like that are all included in this toolkit.
And let me say, one thing that I hear a lot is, I can't find a good primary care physician. I hear it. I want to say every day, I hear someone saying this to me. And Good.
That is a challenge, and that challenge is because so many people going to medical school have chosen to go to a specialty area than to primary care. So we do have a shortage of primary care doctors. But part of the problem with the primary care thing is the insurance issue. Sometimes they're going to a doctor they love, and all of a sudden they don't take that insurance anymore.
Yeah.
So then you have to find another, or you have to change your insurance. So there's a lot of different things that play into that. But I help my clients find a good primary doctor, and they are out there. You may need to
they
wait
do
to
exist.
see them. They do exist. You might not be able to get to see them right away, but you can get in. You can get in to see them. The really good ones, yes, you can.
Yes. Okay. So, where can our listeners find the Map to Good Health? Where is there a website?
Yes, they can go to livinghealthywithnan.com, and it's right there.
Okay.
And on that website, they can sign up for my newsletter that I send out every month. It covers different healthcare issues, and that's for free. And then livinghealthywithnan.com, if they want to get the PDF, the Map to Good Health for Healthy Living, they will have to pay for it. Okay. But sometimes we have specials, so it's $98 for everything, all the toolkit. But sometimes we have specials that give you a discount, so you can send in a question. Are there any discounts?
Okay.
And we can send you something.
Wonderful, and that's livinghealthywithnan.com.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Correct.
Is there a phone number?
You can call my other website, because I have a website where I provide the services, but you can call a main phone number. The office is 786-507-5637, and my extension is 200.
Wonderful. Now, can you provide an example of how someone might use the resource kit in a real-life healthcare scenario?
Oh, yes. Okay. Once they've filled it out, they fill out that Map to Good Health and take it to the doctor. The doctor will look at it, and I'll give you an instance. Made up, no names, anything. The patient said to the doctor that how you have a family history of stroke on both sides. Only my father. Okay, I see that. And I see that he had high blood pressure. Yeah, but that didn't kill him. The stroke did. I see he also had diabetes. Doctor, he was taking shots for that. He took medicine for the high blood pressure. It was a stroke that killed him. And the doctor can explain to him, you see, the diabetes and the high blood pressure can lead to a stroke. So now we're going to watch you. Your blood pressure is borderline high, and your blood sugar is a little bit elevated. So we're going to try and manage that with a diet plan before we try to put you on medication. But I'm going to be watching that, and so should you. That's one way you can use that.
Okay.
But that's an easy explanation. I also have one where an African-American patient goes to see the doctor, and the doctor looks at the PDF, and he says, I see that your father and your uncle had colon cancer. Yes, they did. And you're 40 years old. Yes. Well, you're going to get that colonoscopy right now. We are not waiting till any later because you're at high risk for colon cancer. So that's how a doctor would use that, and that's why they should fill it out really completely.
Okay. So is this like the PDF they're able to print, right? And
yeah,
easily
they
just
can
fill
print
it
it
out?
Mm-hmm. They can type it out, or they can write it out. They can print it out, once they filled it in. But this is the way for a patient to be their own advocate. At the end, there are questions, and I have space for them to have questions that they should write down that they're going to have for their doctor. I give them a few to kind of jog their memory, to kind of make them think of questions, but they should also have their own questions. And that's what I try to do with this. And in looking at some of the other pieces of the toolkit, there are questions that they would be asking a doctor to see if that doctor's a good fit.
Right.
And there's questions that they're going to be asking to prepare for an emergency room visit, there are questions I have in there. So I have a lot of different ways for them to. I also have questions about functional medicine, talking to a functional medicine doctor, as opposed to what we call a conventional doctor or an integrative medicine doctor. So I have lots of different tools to help them think outside of the box as well as inside the box, and help their doctors think that way as well.
Oh, that's great. Now, what feedback have you received from users who have implemented the kit in their healthcare journeys?
Well, most of them say, this is so great because I always forget something.
Yes.
And I have everything right here. And it made me think of all of the questions that I would have for my doctor. And some of them I answered myself when I went through and answered Nan's questions in the form. So I've gotten great feedback because it puts everything in one place. And that's my goal, is everything in one place so you don't have to be searching for things to take to the doctor, and to make you think about your own health and your health history in a way that helps you think of questions for your doctor and helps your doctor give you the best care possible.
Yeah, I don't know if it's being in the doctor's office. Of course at least for me, I'm overall healthy. But when I go to the doctor's office, I feel a little overwhelmed. I don't want to be there, right? So I think I go blank. At least that's my situation. I go totally blank, and I'm like, just tell me that I'm fine, and I want to leave now. So I think that's one, at least my issue. I find myself just going blank and just do what you need to do, and then just say that I can go home.
Well, yeah, and I think the other thing that this form and toolkit does, it gives you the confidence to ask your doctor questions.
Yeah.
Because they're going to ask you, and you've already got all the information. So it gives you the time you need to ask questions, because that information that they're going to be asking you, oh, here, doctor, I've got it printed out for you.
Yeah.
And every
It's
doctor
all
I've
there.
noted that too is like, I love you.
Oh, I'm sure. You need to create one for Medicare, so then, when they come to me, it's like, oh, it's all here. Thank you.
It's so,
because it's
so
similar. It's very similar to when I'm, talking to a client. I'm like, okay, come on, ask me questions. Let's go, because I'm reviewing to make sure that their plan makes sense. So
But
it's kind of like
thing.
the same thing.
Most people don't know the questions to ask. It's all of the questions I have about each body system that go, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah, the doctor told me that about a year or two ago. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I did have a problem with that.
Right.
So it jogs your memory. It says, oh, yeah, I forgot all about that.
Right.
And it's all there in writing.
Yeah.
So that you can just hand it to your doctor, and they can review it, and then you have more time to talk to the doctor because he's read through everything, and then you get your questions.
Right. No, that's terrific. Now, what changes would you like to see in the healthcare system to better support patients and their families?
I would love to see communication much better. And I will say that our system is broken because people don't communicate. Doctors don't communicate with doctors. And when they go in a hospital, the hospitalist does not communicate with the primary care doctors. And sadly, as an advocate, I'm hired privately by the patient. I have spoken to the hospitalist, and then I connect with the primary care doctor and say, this is what's going on, just wanted to let you know. And I do it either by email, because I have HIPAA-compliant email, or by calling them. And it is just amazing how many times that primary doctor has not been told what's going on. The system, the communication is the key for me. The other thing I always tell my clients, get a second opinion. If you have anything that I call life-altering, life-threatening, cancer, ALS, MS, always get a second opinion. And if those two don't agree, then get a third. Yes, your insurance will pay for at least two. So, because that's always a big question. But the system is broken, and you just have to have the confidence to ask questions.
And it's okay to ask, right? Don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid. And you know what? The bottom line is this. Look at it as, would you buy a car if you didn't understand everything about the car? Would you buy a house if you didn't understand everything going on with the house? You have it inspected. So when you go to the doctor or you go in a hospital, you ask questions if you don't understand, because your body is the one being inspected here.
That's right.
And honestly, you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah. It could be a life-threatening situation if you don't ask. That's right.
And, yeah, and a lot of times, you know, it's the primary doctor that will tell a patient something, and they don't listen that well. And what they've told them was really important. And usually primary care doctors now have a nurse call and ask, did you do XYZ?
Right.
Did you get that prescription? Because they understand the patient may not have listened. And so this is important. They need to make sure they got this information.
Right. Now, this is, we're running short now. We only have like 2 minutes left. What key elements do you believe every caretaker should know when advocating for a loved one's health?
They need to know that they don't know what they don't know, and they need to ask questions.
Okay.
That is the biggest thing. Asking questions will tell them what they need to know. And if they don't understand what the explanation is or what a doctor or a nurse says, ask them to tell them in a way they can understand. I usually tell a doctor, talk to them like you're talking to a fifth grader.
Yeah.
If a fifth grader can understand it, everybody can.
Right.
But I make sure, and if the person does not speak English, they need to have a translator.
Absolutely. So, Nan, it's been a pleasure having you, and thank you so much. I always learn something new in our discussions. Can you just remind everybody how to reach you? What's the best way to reach you? Your website and your phone number, please.
The website for my services is healthcareadvisornan.com, and my other website for the toolkit is livinghealthywithnan.com. And the phone number to reach me with any questions, 786-507-5637, extension 200.
Wonderful. And if you guys missed that, you're always welcome to call United Insurance Experts at 561-464-2273. I'll be more than happy to connect you with Nan. Nan, again, thank you so much for joining us today and for all your knowledge. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You have a lovely Saturday.
Thanks for listening to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam right here on Legends 100.3. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. For more information, call 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Tune in next Saturday at 9 a.m. for more Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam.